Sure. So, like I said, we have two market segments. One is SMB and one would be large enterprises. Beyond the kind of content that they might like, I think there are broad similarities across segments. So I will just sort of, narrate how we look at it together. Now, what we do is the first thing we will do is identify the audience. I'll give you an example. Let's say we talk about the functional buyer. A functional buyer could be across different titles. You have the VP of sales, who is the signing authority. Then you have the sales rep on the ground, who is the end user. Now you need to make a choice on what kind of content and therefore what kind of channel might hit them different, right? The needs are different. The perception of usefulness of content is different. The quality of content and the expectations around it are also different. So you need to, even within the functional buyer, you need to think about the titles that you're talking to, their environment, which is the number of people, the kind of people that report into them, the thoughts in their mind. So what does a sales leader worry about? Worries about forecasting, worries about hitting this month's goal. Right? What are they frustrated about? They are frustrated about the team not possibly hitting their goals. They are worried about the team not being able to hit the next quarter's pipeline. They are worried about them not having the right set of technology to even give them the right visibility, right? So you need to really get deep into understanding even that one title that we talk about. Then you have sales reps, right? A very different world. No one reporting into them, but lots of pressure in terms of hitting quota, dumping data on their legacy CRM if they use any, and then not finding the time to actually sell because they are immersed in administrative tasks. So understanding that frustration and then sort of morphing that into communication that leads to demand. That's just the functional buyer. And then the next choice is, do you want to make them consume a lean in asset or a lean back asset? By that, I mean, do you want to make them consume, let's say, a webinar, which is a lot about information, and you're hoping that they're sort of even taking notes if that webinar is interesting enough? Or is it about some nice, let's say, 10-minute video, something we did earlier, which is called the Happy Sales Culture Campaign, where it was 10 minutes of wisdom by sales leaders across the globe. That's more like a lean back sort of a format. And you might want to decide what is that format that those different titles might even like. A VP of sales is time pressed, extremely busy, doesn't have time for a 10-page review. So don't give him or her that, right? Try an alternative format. A sales rep might have some time, but it needs to be super useful to them. And I keep telling my team this, and they do a great job at it, which is, can we give that sales rep something that they're able to use tomorrow? So as a sales rep, I need to go back to my desk tomorrow and start using some of that. Is that possible, right? So that's the North Star that we've set for ourselves. And this is just the functional buyer. And you can do the same thing for the economic buyer. You can do the same thing for the technical buyer. So, but the logic and the rationale remains the same in terms of how you approach creating that asset in the format.